Hey, my name's Tim. I'm the developer of Qubicle, and this is Qubicle 3.0, the new version available on Steam. And I would like to show you how to use the user interface. And we will start with the start screen. Start screen is the first thing you will see when you open Qubicle. It's divided into two areas. At the bottom, you can browse your file system to open a file, or open one of the last 5 models you've worked on, or start a new model. And on the left side you can open learning resources found on the internet, as well as open the forum or follow us on Twitter to get latest news. Or you can open one of the built-in test models. To do so, just click an icon. So this is one of the built-in models made with Qubicle, and first thing you will need to know is how to move the camera to get a better look at all the parts of the model. And to do so, you have got basically two options. Qubicle combines two of the most common ways to navigate in 3D. First one is to use the Alt key and one of the 3 mouse buttons. So press the Alt key and the left mouse button to rotate, or the middle mouse button to pan, or the right mouse button to zoom in and out. You can also use the mouse wheel to zoom, of course. And the second common way to navigate in 3D is to simply use the right mouse button to rotate, or the middle mouse button to pan. If you want to return to the start view, you can always use the home button found here. This will frame the complete work area. If you want to frame a single object or a selection, just select an object and press the F key. If you want to frame more than one object, just make your selection again and press F. If you need a perpendicular view of your scene, use the cam cube found here. If you click on front, you will get a front view. Okay, so the next thing I would like to show you is how to use the tools found in the toolbar. First thing you need to know is that you can't fully use most of the tools outside of the matrix editor. So what is a matrix? A matrix is basically a 3D grid of voxels. And the purpose of a matrix is to divide a very big model into smaller parts that can easily be transformed or modified. So every box you can find here is a matrix. And to edit the voxels of those matrices, simply double-click it. Okay, now you are in the matrix editor and can use the tools found in the toolbar. There are currently 21 tools in Qubicle which will help you to draw, erase and select voxels. And the first one I would like to show you is the pencil tool, which simply draws the foreground color. That's the foreground color. You can pick a color here in the swatches bar, or click on the foreground color to mix your own color. The pencil can draw freehand, or it can draw straight lines. And to do so, you click a voxel, hold down Shift, and then you see a line preview. And as soon as you click another time, while holding down Shift, it draws a line between those two voxels. And you can also draw rectangles with a pencil. To do so, simply hold down Control or Command on OS X, and as soon as you hold down Control, you see this arrow which indicates the direction of the rectangle. To draw a rectangle, simply drag and release. Second tool I would like to show you is the Attach tool, which attaches voxels to existing voxels. So It's basically drawing on top of your model. And like the pencil tool, you can also draw lines. So click a voxel, hold down Shift and click again to draw a line. Or attach a rectangle by holding down Control and dragging a rectangle. Third tool is the eraser tool, which deletes voxels. Simply click and drag to erase voxels. And just like the pencil and attach voxel tool, you can also erase lines by holding down Shift, or even erase rectangles by holding down Control. The paint tool paints color without drawing new voxels. You can also paint lines or paint rectangles. The paint bucket tool is of course used to float fill areas, either contiguous, or you can deactivate it to change color across the whole matrix. Furthermore, you can use the paint bucket tool to paint all voxels inside a rectangular area. Just drag a rectangle and release. The freehand tool, just like the line tool and the rectangle tool, belongs to the shape tools. All those tools have in common that the basic task is to draw their shape, and all of them can be modified to attach or even erase their shape. For example, the freehand tool, the normal mode is to draw. If you hold down Shift, you attach, and if you hold down Control, you erase. Same with the rectangle. The basic behavior is to draw. If you hold down Shift, you attach on top, and if you hold down Control, you erase. Okay, so the next 5 tools are the standard primitive tools: box, sphere, pyramid, cone and cylinder, and they all work the same. You draw a base, and after you release, you have those handles to resize the primitive the way you want it, and to apply, you press Enter, and as soon as you do that, you see that this box is painted pink, which indicates that it's floating and won't destroy any surrounding voxels. You can then use the Move tool to move it where you want, and press Enter again to reattach those detached voxels. In the same way, you can draw spheres. Just draw the base and then resize until you're happy, and then press Enter twice, and there's your sphere. Similar to the shape tools, you can not only draw a primitive, you can also attach by holding down Shift, or even erase by holding down Control. In addition to drawing and erasing voxels, you can also select them for transformation or modification. The basic tool to select voxels is the rectangular select tool. To use it, simply drag a rectangle and everything inside it will be selected. To add more voxels to your selection, hold down Shift, and to deselect voxels, hold down Control. Another familiar selection tool is the Magic Wand tool, which selects contiguous areas or even all color across the model. The Paint Selection tool is similar to the Paint tool, but instead of color, it paints selection. And finally, the box select tool can select voxels inside a box. Using the box tool is same as using the standard primitive tools. First you drag a base and then you resize the box until you're happy. Press enter and everything inside that box will be selected. The last selection tool is the move tool, which selects contiguous areas. So if you click this voxel, the whole sphere is selected. Or if you click the box, the whole box is selected. Selecting voxels has got two purposes. One is that you can mask certain parts of your area. For example, if I select the head and use the pencil tool, I can't modify the selected voxels. I can only modify unselected voxels. Second purpose is of course to transform or modify your selection. Transformation can be, for example, flipping or rotating, or of course translating with the move tool or the arrow keys. Or you can modify your selection with color transformation, or you can add noise. Again, as mentioned before, if voxels are highlighted pink and surrounded by a pink outline, those voxels are detached. They are floating and don't destroy other voxels if you translate them. So if you want to attach those floating voxels, you can either use any tool somewhere, or you can simply press enter. Okay, there are three tools left to explain. One is the resize tool, which resizes a work area. Voxels can only exist inside a matrix and not outside, so if you need more space, you can simply use the resize tool and drag off one of those handles to resize. As soon as you release, it will be applied. If you hold down Shift, you will evenly resize on both sides of the box. The eyedropper tool picks a color of your model, and as soon as you pick a color, it will jump back to the last tool you've used. So if you're drawing and pick a color, you're back to drawing. You don't have to use the eyedropper tool for picking colors necessarily. You can also use any tool, hold down the Alt key and click on a voxel to pick a color. Okay, the last tool I want to show you is the extrude tool, which extrudes a 2D area. First you drag a base area and then you can extrude in both directions. You can even resize the base area. When you're happy, just press return. Another cool feature of Qubicle is the 2D slice mode, which enables you to work on a 2D canvas instead of in 3D. You can toggle this mode by using this button here. And as soon as you are in 2D mode, you have two additional controls to select the slice. One here at the side and one outlining the matrix. And if you now use the tools, you can only work on this 2D canvas. Can turn this slice mode off by pressing that button again. Or a faster way to pick a slice is to use the spacebar. Simply move your cursor over a voxel and then press space. And as you can see, the side I'm pressing space is relevant to the slice direction that is picked. Okay, that's the slice mode. Okay, 5 buttons left to explain. First one is trace stroke, which completes a freehand drawn line. So if you move your mouse quickly over the screen, you will see that as soon as you release the mouse, the line will be completed for you. If you don't want this behavior, you can turn this off with this button. Masking is what I've explained earlier. If you select voxels and use drawing tools, if you have masking turned on, then those voxels are not affected. You can turn this behavior off by clicking this button. And finally, new in Qubicle 3, the mirror modes. You can mirror all tool actions across one of the 3 axes. And as soon as you turn it on, you will see that the tool preview is mirrored, and if you draw, it will draw on both sides. You can draw lines and rectangles, and basically everything that you can do is mirrored. Okay, that's most of the stuff that you need to know about the matrix editor. If you forget how to use the tool, you can always move your cursor over a mouse button and see a description in the status bar. And if you've selected the tool, you can as well see how to modify the tool actions in the status bar. To get back to the model view, you can either use the arrow key here above the work area, or simply double click an empty area, and now you're back in model view. To create new matrices, you can use the create tab. This one will create an empty matrix, and all the others will create filled matrices, either with standard primitives like spheres or even toruses, or 2D shapes like rectangles or disks. And the last one will create a landscape. That's a pretty complex dialog that I will explain in another video. You can use it to create landscapes. Okay, 2 last things I would like to show you. First thing is how to combine matrices. For example, if you like to put all 3 guys on the sofa into one matrix, the way to do it is to select those 3 matrices and use modify Boolean union. And the opposite function is to split off voxels. For example, if you want to split off the head, you select the head and afterwards you say modify other split off. Shortcut is insert. So if you use that, voxels will be removed from this matrix and a new one is created containing those voxels. Okay, so the very last thing I want to explain in this video is how to assign keyboard shortcuts. You can assign keyboard shortcuts to basically everything that you can find in the main menu. If you're working on a Mac, you have to make that inline menu visible in your window by selecting View Inline Menu. The way to assign a keyboard shortcut is very easy. Just move your mouse over any menu entry and press the keyboard shortcut you want to assign. There's a lot of more stuff to discover in Qubicle, but I guess that should be enough for your first lesson, so I will close this video. I hope you enjoy Qubicle as much as I enjoy developing it. I hope to see some of your works in the future. Have fun!